Elena Mason sat by the window of the mountain cabin, her hand resting on her large 7-month pregnant belly. The setting sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink. Her 8-year-old daughter Lily played with wooden blocks on the floor, nearby, building what she called a space station. "When is Dad coming home?" Lily asked without looking up from her creation. "Soon, sweetie," Elena said, though she wasn't sure if that was true. Her husband Jack was on a secret mission somewhere in deep space. As a commander in Earth's Special Forces, his work often took him away for weeks or even months. Elena had once been part of that world too. Before Lily was born, she had been one of Earth's top military strategists, helping plan missions against hostile alien forces. Her specialty had been finding weaknesses in enemy defenses, but she had stepped back from that life to raise their daughter. And now, with another baby on the way, the cabin in the mountains was their peaceful home. The cabin looked normal, but it wasn't. Jack had built special security systems into the walls and ground around it. Elena knew how to use the hidden weapons if she needed to protect herself and Lily. So far, they had never been necessary. "Can we have hot chocolate?" Lily asked, adding another block to her space station. "Of course," Elena smiled, pushing herself up from the chair. Her back ached from the weight of the baby, but she moved to the kitchen anyway. That's when she felt it, a strange vibration in the floor. Elena froze. The cups in the cabinet began to rattle. This wasn't an earthquake, she knew this feeling. A ship was landing nearby, and it wasn't human. "Lily," Elena said calmly, though her heart was racing. "Remember the hide-and-seek game Dad taught you?" Lily's eyes widened. She nodded. "I need you to go to the special hiding place right now." "But Mom?" "Now, Lily. I'll come get you when it's safe." Lily ran to the hallway closet, pulled the hidden lever inside, and disappeared into the secret room Jack had built. Elena turned to the kitchen drawer where a weapon was hidden, but before she could reach it, a blinding light filled the cabin. The roof seemed to disappear. Elena looked up to see a massive ship hovering above the cabin. It was like nothing Earth's military had. This was from somewhere else, somewhere far away. A beam of blue light shot down into the living room. Elena felt her feet leave the floor. As the beam pulled her upward, she tried to fight it, to grab onto something, but the force was too strong. "Lily!" she screamed, hoping her daughter would stay hidden. But a second beam had found the secret room. Elena watched in horror as Lily was lifted up beside her, the little girl's face frozen in terror. "It's going to be okay," Elena said, reaching for her daughter's hand as they floated up into the alien ship. "I'm right here with you." Inside the ship, everything was cold metal and strange blue lights. Tall, thin creatures moved around them. They had gray skin that looked almost like metal, and 4 arms each. Their eyes were large and completely black, with no white parts like human eyes. 2 of the aliens grabbed Elena while another took Lily. "No! Keep her with me!" Elena fought against their grip, but it was useless. Their strength was much greater than any humans. "She's just a child. She needs her mother." The aliens didn't seem to understand or care. They spoke to each other in clicking sounds that Elena couldn't understand. Lily was taken down one hallway while Elena was pulled down another. "Be brave, Lily," Elena called out. "Remember what Dad taught you? I'll find you." The aliens brought Elena to a room that looked like a medical lab. Strange machines lined the walls. One of the aliens seemed to be in charge. It wore a different uniform with symbols that probably showed its rank. "I am Admiral Vortek of the Khazari Empire," the alien said in perfect English, surprising Elena. "You and the young human are now property of our scientific research division." Elena stayed silent, watching everything around her. She noticed how the door mechanisms worked, how many guards were posted, what kind of weapons they carried. Old habits from her military days came back automatically. "Your silence is wise," Admiral Vortek said. "Cooperation will make your time here less unpleasant." Another alien approached with a scanning device. It moved the device over Elena's pregnant belly. "Fascinating," the second alien said. "The female carries a developing specimen. Most efficient. We gain 3 test subjects instead of just 1. Elena felt cold fear grip her heart. but kept her face calm. These aliens had no idea who they were dealing with. They didn't know that her husband, Jack Mason, had once single-handedly destroyed an entire enemy fleet when they threatened Earth. They didn't know that Elena herself had planned some of the most successful military operations in Earth's history. Most importantly, they didn't know that Jack would come for them. And when he did, these aliens would regret ever hearing the name Mason. "The young one shows unusual brain activity," another alien reported, entering the room. "Her cognitive patterns are more advanced than our research suggested for humans of this age." Admiral Vortek moved closer to Elena. "Your offspring is interesting. Tell me, is the male who contributed genetic material also of above-average intelligence for your species?" Selena looked directly into the alien's black eyes. "Her father will come for us," she said simply. The aliens made a sound that might have been laughter. "Impossible," Admiral Vortek said. "We are thousands of light years from your planet. No human vessel could track us, let alone reach this location." Elena said nothing more. Let them believe what they wanted. The ship rumbled as it moved into space. Through a small window, Elena watched Earth grow smaller until it was just a blue dot among the stars. She memorized everything she saw, the control panels, the star patterns, the ship's design. Any information might help later. When they strapped her to an examination table, she didn't fight. When they took samples of her blood, she remained still. All the while her mind was working, planning, looking for weaknesses. They put her in a cell with a clear wall so they could observe her. The room had a bed and basic facilities, like a human zoo exhibit. Elena sat on the bed, hands resting on her belly, feeling the baby kick inside her. "Your dad is coming," she whispered to her unborn child. "And I'm going to get us out of here. I promise." In another part of the ship, Lily sat in a similar cell, hugging her knees to her chest. An alien stood outside, watching her with those black eyes. Lily was scared, but she remembered what her dad had told her. "If bad people ever take you, pay attention to everything. Count the steps they take you. Remember which way they turn. Look for anything special about the place." So Lily counted doors and turns. She noticed that the aliens pressed certain patterns on wall panels to open doors. She listened to the sounds of the ship and tried to understand the aliens' clicking language. And she remembered the most important thing her father had said: "No matter what happens, I will always find you." As the massive alien ship accelerated, to speeds humans could barely imagine, heading toward a distant research facility, neither Elena nor Lily knew that back on Earth, Commander Jack Mason was already returning from his mission. He would come home to an empty cabin. And then the hunt would begin. Commander Jack Mason's small ship landed at the military base on Earth. He had been gone for 3 weeks on a mission so secret that only 5 people on the planet knew about it. The mission had been successful. He had destroyed a hidden weapons factory that an enemy alien race was building near Jupiter. Jack was tired. His body ached from the fights he had been in. His face had a new scar across his left cheek. All he wanted now was to go home to Elena and Lily. The thought of Elena's smile and Lily's excited hugs when he walked through the door kept him going. General Patricia Wallace met him when he stepped off his ship. "Welcome back, Commander," she said. "Good work out there." Jack nodded. He didn't need praise. He had done his job. That was all. "I need to get home," he said. "Elena's pregnancy is getting further along." General Wallace's face changed. Something was wrong. Jack felt it immediately. "What is it?" he asked, his voice hard. "We got an alert from your cabin's security system yesterday," she said. "By the time our team got there." She handed him a small screen. Jack looked at the security footage. He saw the alien ship. He saw the strange blue light. He saw Elena and Lily being taken. Something cold and dangerous awoke inside him. His hands gripped the screen so tightly that the metal bent. "Who took them?" His voice was barely above a whisper. "We don't know yet," General Wallace said. "Our best people are analyzing the ship design. It's not like anything we've seen before." Jack pushed past her and walked quickly toward the base exit. "Mason, where are you going?" she called after him. "To get my family back." You can't just leave. We need a plan. We need to figure out who took them. Jack stopped and turned around. His eyes were like ice. I know who took them. The ship matches Khazari design. They're collectors. They take specimens from different planets to study. How do you know this? I encountered them 2 years ago on a classified mission. They don't know humans have traveled this far into space. They think we're still primitive. Jack continued walking. General Wallace followed him. Even if you're right, you can't go after them alone, she said. They could be anywhere in the galaxy by now. I'm not going alone, Jack said. He pulled out a small device and pressed a button on it. I'm calling in my team. Within 2 hours, 11 people had arrived at the base. They were all special forces, the best Earth had. Each one had worked with Jack before. Each one owed Jack their life. Alan Ricks was the first to arrive. He was the best communications expert in the military. He could break into any system, decode any language. Next came Dr. Sofia Rivera, who knew more about alien biology than anyone else on Earth. She had saved Jack's life 3 times when alien weapons had injured him in ways human doctors couldn't understand. Kyle Winters was a pilot who could fly anything. People said he could fly a brick if it had even a small engine. The others were weapons experts, tactical specialists, and combat veterans. They all gathered in a secure room on the base. No one needed to ask why they were there. The news about Elena and Lily had spread among them. This team wasn't just Jack's colleagues. They were family to him. Lily called them all aunts and uncles. We're going after them, Jack said simply. No, one argued. No one asked how, they just nodded. What do we know? Asked Sophia. Jack showed them the security footage. Khazari collectors. They've taken Elena and Lily for study. They're especially interested in Elena because she's pregnant. Alan was already working on a computer, analyzing the ship's energy signature. I can track their jump trail, he said. But we need a fast ship, faster than anything we have. Jack looked at General Wallace, who had followed them into the room. We need the Vengeance, he said. The general's eyes widened. That ship is still in testing, it's not ready. It's ready enough, Jack said. It wasn't a question or a request, it was a statement. The ESS Vengeance was Earth's newest and most advanced warship. It was built with technology humans had gained from studying alien ships. It could travel faster than any other human ship. It had weapons that could destroy a small moon. And most importantly, it had stealth technology that made it nearly invisible to scanners. General Wallace looked at the determined faces around her. She knew these people. She knew what they could do, and she knew that nothing would stop them from trying to save Elena and Lily. Fine, she said at last. But this is unofficial. If you're caught or killed, Earth will deny any knowledge of your mission. Understood, Jack said. As they prepared to leave, a message came in on a secure channel. It was from a race called the Andromeda Collective. They were enemies of the Khazari. We have information about your family, the alien on the screen said to Jack. Its skin was blue and it had no hair. The Khazari have taken them to their main research facility in the Zeta Reticuli system. We will send you the coordinates. Why? Are you helping us? Jack asked suspiciously. We do not help you. We hurt our enemy. That is all. The alien ended the transmission. The team boarded the Vengeance an hour later. Each person knew their job. Each person was ready to face whatever waited for them across the stars. As Kyle started the engines, Jack sat in the command chair. He opened a small pocket on his uniform and took out a picture. It showed Elena, Lily, and him smiling in front of their cabin. It had been taken just before he left on his mission. I'm coming for you, he whispered to the picture. And they will pay for taking you. The ship rose silently into the night sky. Few people on Earth saw it go. Those who did thought it was just a shooting star, moving the wrong way. In space, Kyle activated the special engines. The stars around them stretched into lines of light as the ship jumped to speeds no human vessel had traveled before. Jack knew they were racing against time. The Khazari would be studying Elena and Lily, running tests. treating them like animals in a zoo. The thought made his hands tighten on the arms of his chair until his knuckles were white. But he forced himself to stay calm. Anger would not help. Now, he needed to think clearly, to plan, to prepare for every possibility. "How long until we reach the research facility?" he asked Kyle. 22 hours with the new engines," Kyle answered. "It would take a normal ship 2 years." "Alan, what can you tell me about the facility from the Andromeda data?" Alan studied the information on his screen. "It's big, heavily guarded. They have at least 30 ships stationed there, and it's built into an asteroid near a gas giant planet. Defenses? Energy shields, weapon platforms, the usual." Jack nodded. "We'll use the gas giant's radiation to mask our approach. The Vengeance's stealth systems should do the rest." The team gathered around a holographic display showing the facility. They began planning their attack. How to get in. How to find Elena. And Lily. How to get out. They considered every detail, every possible problem. As they worked, Jack felt a strange sense of calm. The Khazari thought they had taken 2 helpless humans. They didn't realize they had just started a war with the most dangerous man in the galaxy, and Jack Mason never lost a war. Elena sat on the edge of the bed in her cell, counting days in her head. She thought they had been on the alien ship for about 3 days before reaching this place. Now they had been at this facility for 2 more days. Her baby kicked inside, her as if trying to tell her everything would be okay. The room they kept her in had clear walls. Aliens walked by and stared at her all day. They treated her like an animal in a zoo. The room had a bed, a small bathroom area behind a screen, and nothing else. Cameras watched her all the time. Elena pretended to be scared and confused. She let her shoulders slump. She cried when they were watching. But her mind was always working, always planning, always looking for a way out. The Khazari took her out of the cell 3 times a day for tests. They scanned her belly. They took blood samples. They made her walk on a treadmill while they measured her breathing. Through it all, Elena watched and remembered. She counted steps. She noticed which doors needed special access. She saw how the guards changed at regular times. Most importantly, she had found out where they were keeping Lily. During one test, they had wheeled her past another section with cells. She had seen Lily in one of them, sitting on a bed much like hers. Their eyes had met for just a second. Elena had given her daughter a small nod, telling her without words to stay strong. Now, as she sat on her bed, Elena felt a small vibration in the wall near her head. She placed her ear against it and heard faint tapping. Tap, tap. Pause, tap, pause, tap, tap, tap. It was Morse code. Jack had taught both her and Lily this old Earth communication method years ago, just in case. "Mom?" Lily was tapping. "Are you there?" Elena tapped back. "Yes, are you okay?" "Scared." "When is Dad coming?" "Soon. Be brave. Learn everything." The tapping stopped. Elena hoped Lily understood. They needed to learn as much as possible about this place before Jack arrived. Because he would arrive. Elena had no doubt about that. The door to her section opened, and a Khazari scientist entered. This one was smaller than the others. Its movements seemed less harsh. Elena had noticed this alien before. It seemed to be kinder than the others, if such a thing was possible among these creatures. "Human female?" the alien said in its strange accent. "I am Neverin. I will conduct today's tests." Elena nodded weakly, keeping up her act of being a frightened captive. Neverin opened her cell and motioned for her to follow. No guards today, that was new. Elena followed, her mind racing with possibilities. Was this a chance? Not yet, she decided. She needed more information first. "Your offspring," Neverin said as they walked. "The small female. She shows remarkable intelligence." Elena said nothing. "She has learned to count in our language already." Neverin continued. "Most unusual. Chief Scientist Calvex is very interested in her brain patterns." Elena felt fear grip her heart, but kept her face neutral. Are they hurting her?" Neverin's large black eyes blinked slowly. No, the Khazari do not damage specimens. It would make the data invalid. Small comfort, Elena thought. But at least Lily wasn't being harmed physically. They entered a large room with many machines. Elena recognized some of them from her previous tests. One of them had been used to scan her baby. Please lie here, Neverin said, pointing to a table. Elena did as she was told. As Neverin prepared the scanning device, Elena looked around the room. She noticed a control panel near the door. She saw labels on drawers that might contain useful tools. And she saw something else. A ventilation shaft high on the wall with a cover that looked loose. Your heart rate is elevated, Neverin said, looking at a monitor. Are you experiencing distress? The baby is very active today, Elena lied. It's uncomfortable. Neverin seemed to accept this explanation. The alien turned to adjust some settings on a machine. While its back was turned, Elena quickly slipped a small metal tool from a nearby tray into her sleeve. It was about the size of a pen, with a sharp end. It might be useful later. The test continued for about an hour. Neverin was gentler than the other scientists had been. The alien actually explained what each test was for, though Elena pretended not to understand much of it. In reality, she was learning a great deal about Khazari technology. Will I see my daughter soon? Elena asked as the tests finished. Neverin hesitated. It is not protocol to allow specimens to interact. Please, Elena said, allowing real tears to form in her eyes. I just want to know she's okay. Neverin seemed troubled. I will. Consider how this might be arranged. Perhaps if I suggest it's important for the psychological study. Elena nodded gratefully. This alien might be an ally even if it didn't realize it yet. As they walked back to her cell, Elena felt a sharp pain in her abdomen. She gasped and leaned against the wall. What is happening? Neverin asked, sounding alarmed. The baby, Elena said through gritted teeth. Something's wrong. It wasn't entirely a lie. She had been feeling strange pains all day. They weren't regular enough to be labor, but something wasn't right. Neverin called for help on a small device. Soon, other aliens arrived. They placed Elena on a floating stretcher and rushed her to a different area of the facility. This section had more advanced medical equipment. As they moved her, Elena memorized every turn, every door code she could see. This part of the facility might be important later. Chief Scientist Calvex was waiting in the medical area. This alien was larger than the others, with markings on its gray skin that showed its high rank. What is the problem? Calvex demanded. The human female is showing signs of distress. The unborn specimen may be at risk, Neverin explained. Calvex leaned over Elena, studying her with those cold black eyes. Her containment unit has been experiencing unusual electronic malfunctions. Monitoring devices failing, data corrupted, and now this. Elena tried to look confused and scared, but inside she was worried. The chief scientist was suspicious of her. The malfunctions Calvex mentioned had been Elena's doing. Small acts of sabotage to test their systems and create blind spots in their surveillance. Prepare for emergency extraction, Calvex ordered. Elena's blood ran cold. They were going to take her baby. No, she said, struggling to sit up. It's too early, the baby won't survive. Our technology can maintain the specimen's life functions, Calvex said, not looking at her. The risk of waiting is too great. As the aliens prepared their equipment, Elena felt real fear. She wasn't ready for this. Jack wasn't here yet. They needed more time. Then another pain hit her, stronger than before. This one was different. This was a contraction. The baby was coming, ready or not. Wait, she gasped. I think I'm in labor. The baby is coming naturally. This caught the alien's attention. Neverin moved closer, scanning her with a handheld device. She is correct, Neverin said to Calvex. The birth process has begun. Excellent, Calvex said. We can observe the complete human birth process. Prepare the observation theater." As they wheeled her to yet another room, Elena's mind raced faster than ever. This changed everything. But maybe, just maybe, it could work in her favor. The birth would create confusion, divide the aliens' attention. It might give her the opening she needed, and somewhere out in space she knew Jack was coming. She had to be ready when he arrived. Elena closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Then she began to push. The ESS Vengeance slipped silently into the shadow of the giant gas planet. From the bridge, Jack could see the Khazari research facility. It was built into a large asteroid, with docking bays for ships and bright lights showing through small windows. The facility was like a small city in space. "How many life signs?" Jack asked Alan, who was working at the sensor station. "I'm reading about 300 Khazari," Alan said. "And 2 humans, 1 adult, 1 child." He looked up at Jack. "It's them. They're alive." Jack felt a wave of relief wash over him, but his face stayed hard. They weren't safe yet. "The human adult is showing strange readings," Alan continued, his voice concerned. "Elevated heart rate, unusual hormone levels." Dr. Rivera moved to look at the screen. "She's in labor," she said after studying the readings. "The baby is coming." Jack's hands tightened on the back of a chair. "We move now," he said. "Kyle, take us in." "Alan, jam their communications." "Sophia, prepare the medical bay for a birth." The team moved quickly. Each person knew exactly what to do. They had planned for this moment during the long journey here. Jack gathered his infiltration team in the ship's equipment room. They put on special suits that had been developed using stolen alien technology. These suits could bend light around them, making them almost invisible. "We stay together until we reach the main entry point," Jack told his team. "Then we split into 3 groups. Team 1 with me, we find Elena and Lily. Team 2 with Alan, take out their communications center and security systems. Team 3, with Sophia, secure our escape route and prepare for medical support." The ESS Vengeance moved slowly toward the facility, using the radiation from the gas giant to hide its approach. The Khazari had no idea they were coming. Kyle brought their ship into a maintenance dock on the far side of the facility. This dock was rarely used according to the information they had received from the Andromeda Collective. "Good luck," Kyle said as the teams prepared to leave the ship. "I'll be ready for a quick exit when you get back." Jack nodded to his old friend. Then he led his team out into the Khazari facility. The halls were cold and metallic. Strange blue lights glowed along the floors and ceilings. The humans moved silently, their special suits making them nearly impossible to see. When Khazari walked past, the humans froze and held their breath. The aliens sensed nothing. They reached a central junction where the hallways split in different directions. Jack checked the small device on his wrist that showed the facility's layout. "Alan, your team goes left. Sophia, your team goes right. My team continues straight ahead." According to the scan, Elena is in the medical sector. The team separated, moving like ghosts through the alien facility. Jack led his team deeper into the research center. They avoided guards when possible. When they couldn't avoid them, they used silent weapons that released a gas that put the aliens to sleep without raising alarms. They reached a security door that needed special access. One of Jack's team members placed a small device on the control panel. The device lit up with strange symbols, then flashed green. The door slid open. Inside was a monitoring center. Screens showed different parts of the facility. Jack saw aliens working in labs. He saw empty cells where they probably kept their specimens. Then he saw a screen showing a medical room with several aliens gathered around a table. On the table was Elena. Jack's blood turned cold. He could see her face twisted, in pain. She was in labor, just as Sophia had said. The aliens were standing around her, watching and taking notes as if she were some kind of experiment. "There," another team member whispered, pointing to a different screen. It showed a small room with a clear wall. Inside was Lily, sitting on a bed, her knees pulled up to her chest. Jack tapped his communicator. "Alan, what's your status?" "We're in the communication center," Alan's voice came back, quiet but clear. The guards didn't know what hit them. I'm in their systems now. I can control doors, cameras, and internal communications. Lock down all sections except our route to Elena and Lily. Create a false emergency in the other areas to draw guards away from us. On it, Alan said. Almost immediately, alarms began to sound in distant parts of the facility. Jack watched on the screens as Kazari rushed to respond to the false emergency. The halls in their area became less crowded. Sophia, status? Jack asked into his communicator. Medical team is in position, Sophia replied. We've secured the route back to the ship. No casualties on our side. Jack turned to his team. Let's move. Lily first, then Elena. They moved quickly down the halls toward the cell block where Lily was being held. Fewer guards were present now thanks to Alan's diversion. Those they encountered were quickly subdued. When they reached Lily's cell, Jack stepped close to the clear wall. He tapped a small pattern on the surface, the same pattern he used to tap on Lily's bedroom door at home. Lily's head snapped up. Her eyes widened as she saw her father suddenly appear as he turned off his invisibility suit. Daddy? She whispered, not believing her eyes. I'm here, sweetheart, Jack said, his voice tight with emotion. Stand back from the wall. Lily obeyed, moving to the far side of the cell. Jack placed a small device on the clear wall. It made a soft humming sound, and then a section of the wall simply disappeared, leaving a hole large enough for Lily to climb through. Jack lifted his daughter into his arms. She wrapped her arms around his neck and held on tight. I knew you'd come, she whispered into his ear. I told them you would, but they didn't believe me. I'll always come for you, Jack said, holding her close for a moment. Then he set her down and reactivated his invisibility suit. He gave her a small bracelet. Put this on. It will make you invisible like me. Lily put on the bracelet and disappeared from sight, though Jack could still see her outline thanks to his special helmet. Now we have to get Mom, he said. She's having the baby. I know, Lily said. I could hear her through the wall sometimes. The aliens are very excited about it. They've never seen a human baby being born before. Jack's jaw tightened at the thought of Elena giving birth surrounded by alien scientists who saw her as nothing more than a test subject. Let's go, he said. They moved quickly toward the medical sector, with Lily staying close to Jack. She was brave and quiet, just as she had been taught in the emergency drills they had practiced at home. When they reached the medical sector, they found more guards than expected. The birth of a human baby was drawing attention from the Kazari. Alan, Jack whispered into his communicator. We need another diversion. Something big. How about a power failure? Alan responded. I can cut power to everything except life support and emergency lighting. Do it. Seconds later, the bright lights in the facility went out. Emergency lights came on, casting everything in a dim red glow. The guards looked around in confusion. Some of them ran off to check the power systems. Jack's team used the confusion to slip past the remaining guards and into the main medical chamber. Inside, they found chaos. The Kazari scientists were trying to continue their work using portable lights. In the center of the room, on a table, Elena was breathing hard, her face covered in sweat. Chief Scientist Calvex stood at the head of the table, giving orders to the others. Nevrin stood closest to Elena, holding a scanning device over her belly. The power failure is interfering with our equipment, Nevrin said. We should delay the procedure. No, Calvex replied. This is too valuable an opportunity. Continue with manual observation. Jack gave silent signals to his team. They spread out around the room, each targeting a specific alien. Jack moved, directly behind Calvex, his weapon ready. Elena's eyes suddenly widened. Despite the pain she was in, she had noticed something. A slight shimmer in the air where Jack stood. She knew what it meant. She had seen the technology before. With a sudden burst of strength, Elena grabbed a medical tool from a tray beside her and swung it at the nearest light, smashing it. The room grew even darker. Restrain the specimen, Calvex shouted. But it was too late. Jack's team struck all at once. Sleep gas filled the room. affecting only the Khazari due to their different biology. One by one, the aliens collapsed to the floor. Jack turned off his invisibility suit and rushed to Elena's side. "Elena," he said, taking her hand. "Jack," she gasped, then grimaced as another contraction hit her. "You're right on time, our baby is coming." Jack turned to where he knew Lily was standing. "It's safe now, Lily. You can turn off your bracelet." Lily appeared beside him, rushing to her mother's side. "Mom, are you okay?" "I'm better now," Elena said, managing a smile despite her pain. "The family is back together." Sophia's voice came through Jack's communicator. "Jack, we've got company. A patrol ship just docked. We need to move now." "Elena can't be moved yet," Jack replied. "The baby is coming." "Then we hold this position," Sophia said firmly. "We'll come to you." As Sophia and her medical team made their way to the medical chamber, Jack and Lily stayed by Elena's side. Through the pain, Elena told them everything she had learned about the facility. Even now, she was thinking like the tactical genius she had once been. "They have other humans here," she said between contractions. "In the lower levels. They've been taking people for years." Jack nodded grimly. This mission had just gotten bigger. But first, they had to deliver this baby. Their family had to be whole again. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the medical chamber. The sound of running feet echoed in the hallways outside. Jack looked at Elena, who was breathing hard through another contraction. "We need to move," he said. "Can you walk?" Elena shook her head. "The baby is coming right now." Jack turned to one of his team members. "Guard the door. No one gets in." Sophia and her medical team rushed into the room. Sophia immediately went to Elena's side and checked her condition. "The baby is crowning," she said. "There's no time to move her." Jack tapped his communicator. "Alan, status report." "Not good," Alan replied. "The patrol ship that docked brought Admiral Vortek. He's figured out something is wrong. They're doing a section-by-section search." Jack looked at Elena. Their eyes met and a silent message passed between them. They had been in tough situations before. They would get through this one too. "Hold them off as long as you can," Jack told Alan. "We need a few more minutes." "I'll do my best," Alan said. "I've locked down as many doors as I can, but they're overriding them one by one." Jack turned back to Elena just as she let out a cry of pain. Sophia was coaching her through the final pushes. "You're doing great," Sophia said. "One more big push." Elena gripped Jack's hand so hard he thought his bones might break. She pushed with all her strength. Suddenly, a new sound filled the room, the cry of a baby. Sophia lifted the tiny, wet infant. "It's a boy," she announced, quickly cleaning the baby and wrapping him in a sterile cloth from her medical kit. Elena reached for her son, tears streaming down her face. Jack placed his hand gently on the baby's head, feeling a wave of love and protectiveness wash over him. Lily peered at her new brother with wide eyes. "He's so small," she whispered. The moment of peace was shattered by the sound of an explosion. The whole facility shook. "They're trying to blast through the security doors," Jack's team member at the door reported. Jack looked at Elena. "We need to move now. Can you walk if I help you?" Sophia spoke up. "She shouldn't walk yet." "I can do it," Elena said firmly, handing the baby to Sophia. "Get me up." Jack and one of his team members helped Elena to her feet. She was weak, but her determination was strong. Jack knew not to argue with her when she had that look in her eyes. As they prepared to leave, the alien scientist Nevrin stirred on the floor. The sleep gas was wearing off. Jack raised his weapon, but Elena put her hand on his arm. "No," she said. "Nevrin helped me, treated me like a person, not a specimen." Jack hesitated, then nodded. He turned to Nevrin, who was now watching them with those large black eyes. "We're leaving," Jack said. "If you try to stop us, you will die. If you help us, you might live through this." Nevrin slowly stood up. "There are other humans here, 13 of them in the lower levels. They have been here much longer than your mate and offspring. Show us, Jack said, his weapon still pointed at the alien. Neverin moved to a computer terminal and pressed several buttons. A map appeared on the screen, showing the location of the other human prisoners. This is a trick, one of Jack's team members said. The Admiral is probably waiting there to ambush us. No, Neverin said. Admiral Vortek does not care about the other specimens. He only wants the female and her offspring. They are special because they show unusually high intelligence. Jack looked at the map and made a quick decision. We can't leave them behind. He tapped his communicator again. Alan, new plan. We need to get to the lower-level detention center. There are more humans there. That's going to be tough, Alan replied. But I have an idea. Stand by. Moments later, the facility's internal communication system came on. Admiral Vortek's voice echoed through the halls, but it wasn't really him. It was Alan using the Admiral's voice patterns from recorded messages. Attention all personnel. Unknown contaminant detected in lower levels. Evacuation Protocol 7 is now in effect. All personnel must report to their emergency stations immediately. The sound of movement in the halls changed direction as many of the Khazari responded to the false order. That won't fool them for long, Jack said. Let's move. They formed a protective formation around Elena, who was holding the baby again, and Lily. Neverin led them through service corridors that few Khazari used. Sophia had given Elena a drug to help with the pain and blood loss, but Jack could see she was struggling to keep up. We need to rest, Jack said after they had gone down several levels. No time, Elena said through gritted teeth. Keep moving. They reached the lower detention area and found it lightly guarded. The few guards there were quickly subdued. Inside, the cells were 13 humans of different ages. They looked pale and thin, but otherwise unharmed. Some had been there for years, taken from remote areas on Earth where no one would notice their disappearance. We're getting you out of here, Jack told them. Can everyone walk? They all nodded, hope dawning on their faces for the first time in years. Jack turned to his team. New formation, teams of 2, each responsible for guiding some of the civilians. Sophia, stay with Elena and the baby. As they prepared to move, Alan's voice came through the communicator again, sounding tense. Jack, we've got a big problem. Admiral Vortek has ordered the facility to self-destruct rather than let us escape with their research subjects. We have 15 minutes. Jack's mind raced. The original escape route would take too long with this many people, some of whom were weak from captivity. We need a faster way out, he said. Neverin spoke up. The Admiral's personal shuttle. It is large, enough for all of you. It docks on level 2, section Blue 7. Can you get us there? Jack asked. Neverin nodded. Yes, but the Admiral will have guards there. We'll handle the guards, Jack said grimly. They moved as quickly as possible through the facility, helping the weaker prisoners. Elena insisted on walking by herself, passing the baby to Lily to carry. Jack knew his wife well enough to recognize when arguing would be useless. They reached level 2 just as a group of Khazari security forces appeared at the other end of the corridor. Weapons fire erupted, energy bolts flying past them. Get to the shuttle, Jack shouted, returning fire with his team. We'll hold them off. Elena took Lily, the baby, and the former prisoners with Sophia and half of Jack's team toward the docking bay. Jack and the rest stayed behind, creating a barrier between the escaping humans and the Khazari forces. The fighting was intense. 2 of Jack's team were hit and went down. The Khazari kept coming. Jack knew they couldn't hold much longer. Fall back to the shuttle, he ordered. They retreated step by step, still firing to keep the Khazari at bay. They reached the docking bay and found the shuttle's engines already running. Sophia was at the controls with Elena beside her, helping despite her condition. Everyone on board, Jack shouted. As the last team member ran up the ramp, Jack saw Admiral Vortek appear at the door to the docking bay. The Admiral was tall and imposing, his gray skin marked with symbols of his high rank. You cannot escape, Vortek called out. This facility will explode in 5 minutes. All docking clamps are locked. Jack raised his weapon, but a bolt of energy from Vortek hit him in the shoulder, spinning him around. Pain shot through his arm. From inside the shuttle, Elena saw Jack fall. Without hesitation, she pressed a button on the control panel. The shuttle's weapons systems came online, targeting the docking bay door. A burst of energy blasted the door apart, taking Admiral Vortek with it. The vacuum of space sucked debris out, but the shuttle remained secure. Jack stumbled up the ramp as it began to close. Elena's hands flew over the controls, releasing the docking clamps manually one by one. "Hold on," she shouted as the last clamp released. The shuttle shot out of the docking bay just as explosions began to rock the facility. Behind them, the research center began to break apart, but they weren't safe yet. 2 Khazari patrol ships were closing in on them. "The Vengeance," Jack said, fighting through the pain of his wound. "We need to get to the Vengeance." "Already, on it," Elena said, her hand steady on the controls despite everything she'd been through. She flew the shuttle like she had been piloting it all her life, evading weapons fire from the patrol ships. The Vengeance appeared from behind the moon where Kyle had hidden it, its weapons blazing. 1 patrol ship exploded, the other turned to flee. The shuttle docked with the Vengeance, and everyone transferred over. Kyle's face showed relief when he saw Jack, Elena, Lily, and the baby all alive. "Nice flying," he told Elena, "for someone who just gave birth." Elena smiled weakly. "Get us out of here, Kyle." The Vengeance's powerful engines fired up, and the ship shot away from the exploding facility. Behind them, the entire asteroid was breaking apart. In the medical bay, Sophia treated Jack's wound while Elena rested with the baby in her arms. Lily sat beside them, her small hand touching her brother's tiny fingers. "What will we name him?" Jack asked, looking at his son. Elena smiled. "How about Sam? It means listener, or one who hears. He certainly heard a lot of action before he was even born." Jack nodded. "Sam Mason. I like it." As the Vengeance jumped to faster-than-light speed, heading back to Earth with its rescued passengers, Jack looked at his family. They had survived impossible odds. They were together. They were safe. And somewhere out in the vast galaxy, word was spreading among alien races. Humans were not to be underestimated, especially not Commander Jack Mason and his family.